Just a couple bad weather fans representing New York, talking all things sports. Man, what could go wrong? We got Alex, who's a fan of the Knicks, and Mike of the Nets. The yin-yang of the tri-state, place your bets on the Yankees, Giants, Mets, or Jets. Yeah, you should listen if they're sparking your interest. If you made a vow to your team, don't break it. Bad weather fans is the relation.
That's right. This is Bad Weather Fans, episode number 156. Mike Biseglia, Alex Benezowitz. The New York Knicks get a win versus the Sixers. The Nets winners the other night versus the Wizards, in which was a dramatic game. But of course, we all begin with the news that broke earlier here on Sunday afternoon, where Kyrie Irving officially off the Nets. I guess maybe not officially until physicals happen, and who the hell knows, but you get the idea. It finally did happen. Kyrie Irving traded. It's been a whirlwind of a couple of days. On what is today? Sunday. On Friday, we got the news at 1:52 p.m., something like that he demanded a trade. We'll talk about some of that in a minute. We'll also talk about the deal, which was the Brooklyn Nets are sending Kyrie Irving to the Dallas Mavericks for Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, a first-round pick unprotected in 2029. Second round pick in 2029 and a 2029 second round pick. Alex, how are you?
I'm good. It was nice to hear that news, and it was pretty funny, and we're gonna have a good time.
I wouldn't call it funny. I mean, maybe from your angle,
funny
although
yeah,
which which we'll get into and we'll have fun and we'll yell at each other. It'll be great. All right. I do want people to know, if you don't already, there is a big game happening. The Super Bowl's coming up, and you know our love and partnership with DraftKings. So make sure you check out BWF. Let me tell you the details. Are you ready for the biggest Sunday in sports? Unfortunately, this Sunday today felt like the biggest trade in sports. But are you ready for the biggest Sunday in sports? DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sporting betting partner of Super Bowl 57, has the Super Bowl action you need. New customers can bet just $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, all customers can get in on the Super Bowl 57 excitement with DraftKings Happy Hour Super Boost. Check the DraftKings Sportsbook app every day between 6 and 9 p.m. Eastern. See prop bet will be boosted. Of course, the game coming up on Sunday, Eagles 1.5 favorites right now over the Chiefs. I'm going to pick the Eagles because I've seen the destruction that they have caused on the rest of the NFC. And I think for people as well, even if you're not a huge betting person, this is the Super Bowl. There's a lot of fun bets that can be placed that are a little bit different. Get into it. Check out BWF. Use our promo code. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code BWF. New customers can bet $5 on Super Bowl 57 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Only DraftKings Sportsbook with code BWF. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. Kyrie Irving era finally over. Kind of wild that it's come to this, and it was kind of fast and furious at the end, right? Everything seemed good. I got duped by Kyrie Irving again. Surprised, but not surprised all at the same time, which to me makes sense because of his past history, but also just how good things were going. But Kyrie Irving dips out, and the Nets right away take action, make a trade. They trade Kyrie, they get Dinwiddie, they get DFS, they've got the pick, and the Nets now, all indications are looking to move the picks and try to add another player and see where they go from here. And I know you're chomping at the bit. I was debating if I should go first on this one, but I kind of want to let you go first to let it get you out of your system, like you had to poop for 3 years, and then I'll rebuttal you back.
Okay. Well, first.
No. See, this, I'm not letting, no. I will defend the Net Nation here. I'm not going to let that happen. See, I won't allow this, and I won't mute you, but I will talk over it because I do think it's a little bit. because it's a little bit.
Okay,
I think it's a little bit ridiculous.
Came in a little too hot in the first one, so sorry.
Because I think it's a little bit ridiculous, and I will defend it on that. I understand your happiness that the teams traded him, but to say let it burn there, I'm going to defend the Nets, and that I have a problem with. But go ahead.
Okay.
If you're going to go
go
ahead with it, I get it. It was it failed.
Yep.
But as if they're going to pivot here and it's going to be a different team. To me, you can play that and you can blast it if Kevin Durant in the next 2 days is gone and he's not here. And I won't stop it, but I will have to, on the net turf side of things, say, I don't think it's at that place. And Kyrie's been a mess and he hurt this franchise in so many different ways.
Yes.
But I'm not going to sit here and have a Knicks fan play that. You go on Twitter, have fun with it. You can get your retweets from the 7 dickhead Knicks fans that love it and enjoy it and DM about how happy it makes you. But I'm not going to allow you to do it in my face.
Okay, so the Nets, their plan is now to build around Kevin Durant, the guy who demanded a trade this past offseason, doesn't even want to be there. And, the Nets really just need to give it up already, man. It's over. It was over this summer. If you tried to put a Band-Aid on the bullet hole with Kyrie.
If you have Durant on the roster, I disagree.
If you have Kevin on the roster, but he doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want to be there.
If he doesn't want to be here, then he'll ask out.
He did already. He doesn't want to be here.
If he is here and he's committed, I can't say blow it up.
But how is he committed? He doesn't want to be here.
If Kevin Durant is here, you might be right. I'm not saying you could be right. I'm just saying from a net perspective, if you have Kevin Durant on the roster, you build around him and you move forward. Now,
sure.
Are the Nets as good as they were? Is their ceiling what it was? No. I'd be crazy to say it isn't. Now, is their floor higher? Yeah, probably, because there's less dysfunction, and you know what you're getting with a guy in Spencer Dinwiddie who averages 18 points per game.
He's your
guy. Borderline
He's
a borderline all-star. He's good, not great. It's basically like having Jalen Brunson for us as a point guard. It's the same kind of apples to apples.
I'm coming home. Yeah,
but if Durant's here, you don't blow it up. If he's gone, that's a whole different conversation and it's a whole different avenue. But if he's here and you got Durant, you go with what you got. I'm not saying they're as good as these other teams in the East. Obviously not. They took a hit today. They're not. But there's going to be a lot of positives that do come from this, believe it or not. Like, I think for net fan mental sanity. But I'm not. If Durant is here, you go as moving forward. And like, to me, Durant hears this news. This is I'm praying for this. Now, if he wants to move along, they're fucked. But if he's here, I think he's sitting there hearing this news going, Kyrie, like, he gets the news. I think he was blindsided by it from Kyrie.
I don't think so.
I think he was blind. I think he was blindsided.
But what makes you think that, though? What makes you think that?
Everything was going great. For him, the negotiations happened. He was hurt by them. And he said, get me the fuck out of here.
But they both asked out in the summer. They both wanted out in the summer. Both of them.
Well, he asked out after the Durant news. He did ask out. I think this blindsided KD. I really do. I think this was so on the moment from Kyrie being insulted that he said, I want to get out of here. Which shows, how full of shit he is.
Of course.
After all
we already knew Kyrie was full of shit.
But all the things he was saying and all of that. And, I'm going to, if I see the Usher tweet, and you can have fun with that. But I will. If I'm bad weather fans, I'm going to mute it. I'm going to mute it. And I'm going to defend it. I will. I'm not going to allow that.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead.
We'll see. If Durant's gone, it's over. But if he's here, they're not a bad team. Kevin Durant's healthy and playing well. They're still fun. And I know this had been said, and I'm a big proponent of. You blow up. If you can't win a title, you do what's best to win a championship. Do I think they could win a title? No. But I would love, honestly, I just want to see good, fun basketball, even if it means coming up short, and whatever short is. At this point, I would sign up for that. Even if it's just for a year or two, I'd say, give me a second round top. Because it's been so miserable. I'll take that. Just a normal basketball team that loses. And I would take it for a little bit and then blow it up.
You won't take that if Kyrie's holding a trophy at the end of the year. You won't take that. That'd be pissing you off. Or if it's Mavs Sixers in the finals.
That'd be a tough sell. That'd be tough to watch. I mean,
Yeah,
don't
you'd be
get me
like,
wrong, you know Kyrie's going to be motivated. You know, and everybody's like, "Oh,
he wants to get paid. That's it.
He's going to be great. He's going to be great with Dallas. He's going to be great. He's going to be great.
We don't know for sure. There's a Knicks connection here too, because the Knicks have the Mavericks pick of this year, and it's like top 10 protected. They're not going to be the top 10, obviously. So, you know, everybody's like, well, now the Mavericks have Kyrie, so now the Knicks pick is going to be worse. But I'm thinking, like, everywhere Kyrie has gone before, even before LeBron and after LeBron, his teams have not played well, or he's gotten hurt in the playoffs every single time. What makes you think that now all of a sudden the Mavericks are this team that's going to be like unstoppable force? How many times you need to be tricked by Kyrie Irving before you realize he is not that guy? Like, well, it's over, man. It's just not that guy.
I'm not going to sit here and defend Kyrie Irving because there's a track record of it, but he's coming here. He's going to be motivated. He's going to be on his best behavior. And I'm talking about the Knicks on a short term for this year, what this player, this pick looked like. He's going to make them better. It's just going to happen. I mean, they're going to win more games. Absolutely. With him motivated and Luka together would be an unstoppable offensive force. Now, if you're telling me in the long run, what does this team look like and what does he do to the Maverick franchise and all of the other things that can happen? Who the hell knows? I mean, seriously, who knows? I say this tongue in cheek, but you never know. Senator Ted Cruz did a quote tweet today to Kyrie Irving, "Welcome to Texas." Something could happen in the state of Texas that derails. I mean, it could. I mean, it really could. So, I hear you and you celebrate it and enjoy it. It was 3 years ago. Things have changed. They had to pivot. That was such a long time ago. It's a different world, like a different world for the Nets. And when the news came down, I know with KD, I was happy to see that he wasn't traded over the summer. With Irving, it was over. I mean, it was absolutely over. And we'll see what this team looks like next week. They add a first round pick. Nets need to make another move to add a solid player to this roster. Who that is, I don't know. And then you go from there. And if you're a Net fan, you just say, we've got Kevin Durant. Let's hope Ben Simmons gets better and see what happens with this new group. But it's over.
I just think it's false hope thinking Kevin Durant wants to be here and thinks that he's going to now all of a sudden lead this team with another trade or two to win a championship. Hopefully it's over. They have to stop worrying. The Nets have to stop worrying about Kevin Durant's feelings, and they have to stop holding on to this false hope. Like he's going to all of a sudden stay healthy and then they're going to win and then maybe make a couple trades and we could do it's over. They have to cut their losses and get out of this because it's just like been a clown show since they signed these guys and they've handed over the keys to the franchise and they need to take it back. And until they take it back, they're not going to win shit. And it's just the bottom. That's just it. And they keep doing these band-aids on bullet holes. Like, oh, they'll just play. These are people. They're not video game characters. Like they are people with feelings. When they say they don't want to be there, they don't want to fucking be there. And they needed to listen to that. And they didn't. And they tried. And sure enough, what I said this summer, Durant's going to get hurt and then Kyrie's going to do something crazy. And then it's going to be the same shit again. And here we are. And I tried to warn you, it's the same shit. And it's going to happen again with Kevin Durant because he already demanded a trade. So I don't understand what you guys are holding on to of like, oh, it's Kevin Durant, or Kyrie Irving, like, oh, look, well, he's gonna be with Luka. Well, he was just with fucking Kevin Durant. He was just with Jason Tatum, and he wasn't happy with any of those guys. And now he's gonna be with Luka, and he's gonna be on his best behavior. I'm not worried about Kyrie Irving. I'm not worried about Kevin Durant.
Don't take this the wrong way, but the Knicks have never had somebody this good. So when you have somebody this talented on your roster that you see can play that's
not relevant to this conversation. You don't give them up. That's not relevant to this conversation. I've watched basketball my whole life. That's not relevant to this conversation. I watched Patrick Ewing. He was an all-time great player. That didn't have help.
You're asking me.
That's not relevant. That's not fair. That's not relevant to the conversation.
You're asking
me. That's a deflection. You're
asking me why I don't want Kevin Durant to be like Kevin Durant's feelings. Yeah, you got to be sensitive to them. You're talking about one of the 12 to 15
enough.
best players of all time. You keep them.
That's the definition of insanity. No, you're doing the same thing over and over, and you're expecting different results. It's what you're doing right now.
To blow it up in this instant, in this moment. I want to take my chance with the new guys in and keep Kevin. I like him that much. I understand. I don't get feelings hurt that he wanted to be traded. It doesn't bother me.
Well, you should.
I want him. It doesn't. It does.
You should, because
it doesn't impact how I feel if Kevin Durant.
It's not even feelings.
If he's here now and he's committed, he'll play hard. He'll play his ass off. It's a different continuity with Kyrie Irving. There was a lot there that could go wrong. And we know that. We don't know if Kyrie Irving was guaranteed to care about winning. It proved that he didn't. I mean, he doesn't care about winning. He clearly doesn't. He cared about getting his money. That was most important to him.
Yep.
I do think there is some level of winning championships that Kevin Durant does care about. When he is injury prone, but when he's playing, he gives everything he has.
Of course.
He really does.
You.
So I'm not, as a fan that's watching one of the greatest players to ever do it, I want to keep him around. I want to keep him around, and I want to have my own false hope that maybe with the new guys in with him in the lineup, you keep it rolling. He's 34 years old. He's still playing at an MVP type level. Yes, he does miss a month every season. That's proven. Unfortunately, it's shown that it has derailed the Nets in back-to-back years with their other star wanting to bail. And I do want to kind of compare Harden and Kyrie Irving a little bit together because I think there's no similarities between the two leaving. I think they're very, very different, one of which annoys me a hell of a lot more. You can guess who that is. But if Kevin Durant's on the roster and he's playing at an MVP type level, you keep him. Now, I'm saying for this season in particular. Now, I hear what you're saying in the summer. If there's deals and it's somewhere they can pivot, I get you. This is the problem with the Nets season. They're 32-20. They're locked in right now as the 4 seed in the East. They're going to be a top 10 seed. I mean, it would take unbelievable.
They had to lose out. Yeah.
Kevin Durant's coming. The Nets need to win like 5 games to be in the play-in.
Yeah.
What do you do right now? Because you're not the Bucks or the Celtics, but you're not going to go slide back. You're already 32-20. I think they owe it to the fan base. Obviously, they're thinking this direction for Durant to stay here. There's no reason unless some team offered you something that was unbelievable, right? But as we talked from over the summer, those deals aren't there. So why, if you're going to get a deal that isn't that great, you're 32-20, you're 70% through the season, why would you start a rebuild now? It makes no sense.
It's not starting a rebuild. It's just to get as much as you can from this guy right now with desperate teams that think that they can win a championship. For Kevin Durant in the offseason, he's another year older. So you're going through another season where he's been hurt again, another season where he's going to get bounced out in the first or second round. And you're just, what makes you think that he's going to be so valuable in the offseason than what he is now?
Well,
and it's just, and also, but what makes you think he wants to stay? Like, what makes you think he wants to stay here?
Alex, that's the thing that's keeping me up at night right now, right, man? Like in the next 72 hours, that's the thing that scares me.
Right.
But I'm not going to back away from saying I want him here. Now,
of course you want him.
Am I terrified that he might leave or demands a trade? Of course I am. I think that's definitely a possibility and something that scares me. He wasn't at the game the other night versus the Wizards. He wasn't there. Of course, all the things creep into my head. But this idea that the Nets should just deal him and blow it up and start it over when they have the all-time great on the roster and then bees all over him. I'm telling you right now, I want to take my chances with that over blowing it up. Okay. Seriously, like I want to see if Durant is committed and he says he wants to stay. I want to see what he looks like without Kyrie Irving next to him. I'm interested in that because like Kyrie Irving, he really did set the Nets on fire. I mean, he really, and it all stems back. And the year they were good enough to get through it with Durant and Harden the first year because of the talent level. But the second that he wouldn't get that vaccine, that's why Harden's not here. And this is the point I wanted to make. Yep. And you and I will agree on something here.
Yes.
Because
I know where you're going.
When you were making that point about Durant, I had that in my head and I knew it would tickle you. So I was glad to say it. The Harden thing, it was quitting on the Nets, but you could understand it.
Yep.
You could at least go in his head and be like, I don't want to be here. Kyrie Irving is so inconsistent. All these rules for him, it's not great. I can't take it anymore.
We said it at the time.
I could.
Yeah.
He still quit on the Nets, and I still will always say that.
And I don't blame him, but I said it at the time.
I don't know if I wouldn't blame him, but for me at least, I could understand it. Kyrie Irving was having an incredible stretch. When healthy with Durant, they were unbeatable. Durant goes out and Irving is slow to start. He then takes his game to another level and plays unbelievable, winning games on his own and being a superstar, saying things, all the right things that make you believe, hey, we're committed to each other. We're going to do this. We're going to win. When KD comes back, we got to hold it down. Behind the scenes, he gets insulted by the Nets. And the Nets, the way they played it, they wanted to fuck with him, and they did. And in the contract, there was stuff he said, this is ridiculous. Like that, he said, I'm gone. And to me, that is such a wussy move for your teammates to just leave like that and say, I'm out of here, and abandon them because you were unhappy with the contract. And it just shows that everything Kyrie Irving says to the media is calculated, and he's full of shit. He does a lot. He does a lot of great things for people. He's great in the community and has done outstanding work. And that shouldn't be not brought up and excluded. And if you did that, it wouldn't be fair, because, yeah, he does have a lot of good in him. But as far as a professional basketball player, I've never seen something so selfish in my life.
I agree. And it just screams as a guy. Kyrie Irving is a guy that hasn't been told no in a long time by somebody that can check him. He hasn't had anybody around him, surrounded by yes men, people brainwashing him to the point where he is just thinks he can do whatever he wants and thinks he's the smartest man in the room all the time. And I'm not saying he's not educated, but you know what? Like, he needs somebody to check him. And maybe Kobe Bryant passing away was like his big brother. Maybe that was the straw that broke the camel's back for him, because that was the first year with the Nets. And yeah, he had his issues on other teams before the Nets, but it was never like this. Like with the Celtics, he just, he got a little jealous of the young guys, doing well in the playoffs without him. With LeBron, it was more of like, oh, I don't want to have to answer to LeBron anymore. And he even said that he regretted how that went down. And with the Nets, it's just been one wild thing after another, between the bubble situation where he voted on the union board. And then when the bubble came up and he was told he wasn't allowed to go because he's injured, he said, let's shut it down, and tried to act like he was doing some cultural thing. And he wasn't, you were just mad because he couldn't go. And then the vaccine thing, and there's all a bunch of things. We all know this, getting 2 coaches fired, making almost $130 million and not doing anything, and winning one playoff series where you couldn't even stay healthy for, and then everything that happened with the anti-Semitic book that he shared online and then refused to apologize for it. And then, and then he demands a trade in the offseason, demands a trade in the middle of the season. It's been this avalanche of crap from him ever since Kobe Bryant passed away. It really, really might have been the last person that could check him, because we know how much that crushed him at the time.
What's so weird too is that it really divided the Net fan base.
It did.
Like, there are some people, they're Net fans. I'm not going to say Kyrie stans, because that's a different conversation. But like, they're Net fans that are truly upset with ownership for failing them and not doing what he wanted. Now, I don't think the Net ownership has done a good job. By no stretch of the imagination have they handled this like extremely well. But at the same time, Kyrie Irving has said incident after incident where it's always something. And it's really divided the Net fan base, where it's fans like myself. There's a group of guys that were like, and I probably was lenient on Kyrie, but there was a group of people that are just like, this is enough. There's a sense of relief from a lot of Net fans. And then there's some that are just like, Net ownership really fucked this up, and this guy's now in Dallas. It's like, at some point, though, some accountability. I don't know. I'm never going to convince any Net fan of this. I'll never change their mind that loves them in that stance. But like, they'll go to their, they'll go to their grave saying like, the Net ownership blew this up, and that's why Kyrie Irving's not here. They didn't give in to everything he wanted, and they destroyed us.
Yeah, well,
crazy.
Both sides made mistakes, that's for sure. Sean Marks and Joe Tsai and all those guys in the executive offices definitely made their mistakes here. With Kyrie, they should have stood up to him from the start, and they didn't. They let the guys do whatever they want. Kyrie Irving said on a podcast years ago, we don't need a coach. And ever since then, he's had 2 fired. It's just, they should have stood up for him from the start. But I know what you mean, because unlike what you said before, I have had players that are stars on my teams on the Knicks, like Carmelo Anthony, which wasn't that long ago. And there were Carmelo Anthony stans and Carmelo Anthony fans, and that they would just side with Melo no matter what he did on the court, off the court, no matter what happened. It was always pro Melo stuff. It got to the point where it was, once he was gone, I was relieved, where it was just like, thank God we don't have to hear from these people anymore. And there's still people that are super Melo fans that want him to come back and this and that, and act like he's something that he's not in this organization with the Knicks. And So I feel you there. And it's sort of a relief that when he was gone, and I feel like it did, I'm not saying Melo was anything like Kyrie off the court. No way. Kyrie is a different animal altogether. Melo, was a family man and did everything that he could. You know what I mean? But like, I just didn't like his effort on the court, but he's a little hypocritical off the court, et cetera, et cetera. But it wasn't to the level of Kyrie Irving. You know what I mean? And I just feel like as a person, like you, as a Nets fan, as a Jewish man, as a person who just has good morals, you just are just so relieved. You don't have to root for this guy, Kyrie Irving, anymore. And it's got to be just a relief. It's just like you're able to just be like,
well, they got back too, one of the all-time favorite Nets and Spencer.
Right, that too.
Who's proven this year. He's played in like 52 of 53 games. He's playing great basketball. And the Nets got themselves in Smith a 3-and-D player. So they got two decent, good guys back now.
Yeah, Dorian Finney-Smith is a good player. Yeah,
at their height, of course, is this, Kyrie Irving. It is epic talent. Of course not. But I say that, and yes, the Knicks have had stars. Carmelo Anthony was a star. I don't know if Ewing was a star too. He wasn't Kevin Durant, and this two different things. I know Knicks fans will say this. There's nothing like Ewing. There's been no bigger basketball player in my lifetime than Patrick Ewing with the Knicks and what he meant to the Knicks. I'm not saying Kevin Durant is like that. I'm just saying from a pure talent standpoint, you kind of put up with it. And I bring it back to that because I really do want to see what Durant is like if he's into it without Kyrie Irving. Is it like the devil on your shoulder that was bad? Does Kevin Durant kind of just be like, you know what? Holy shit. This guy's gone. We can focus on some other things. I'd love to know his thoughts on that because he's got to be looking
give him a call. You have his number?
I do not have his number. I wish I did. I do.
Well, that's a very positive way to think, and I understand that's how you have to feel. But I just feel like he knew everything that was happening. He knew everything with Kyrie. This might have been concocted over the summer by the two of them. I feel like Kevin doesn't want to be here, and he's going to do whatever he can to get out of there. He might finish out the season, but I think it's just a matter of time, and the Nets need to cut their losses. I said it over the summer. It's just
yeah. And I wouldn't be shocked if in the summer, my gut says that he rides it out now. Finishes it out. I think too, from a PR standpoint, I think if he asked for a trade right now,
plus he's hurt,
it would look but it would look so bad to do it again because his friend Bale. I really, in my heart, believe he was blindsided by this. I think Kyrie was so hurt by the Nets offer and everything that they had offered him, and he was like, I think Kyrie in his head is going, the last couple of months, I've said all the right things. I've gone to my sensitivity training. I've helped this team win. We don't lose to the Knicks. Like seriously, I think that was the talking point. And he went and they said no, and he lost it. Yeah. He was like, "Are you kidding me? I'm being traded." And I say it again, that to me is so wild. Kind of hit me the other night. I'm like, he just said fuck it.
Yeah,
to all those guys.
He's crazy.
Give a shit. I mean, it's it's a business. But he pieced out that fast is, it happened with Kidd who went to Dallas. He did demand a trade, but like there's some writing on the wall with the way the season was going. The Nets were playing well. They were 31-20. He'd given them wins. It was shocking. It was shocking, but not shocking all at the same time.
Well, let's look at the other side of the trade for the Mavericks. You don't keep Jalen Brunson, who should have been an all-star this year and might be if Kyrie's not there or whatever happens there. I don't know how that's going to work since he's not on the East.
It's a draft too. I don't even know how that really works.
But he was an Eastern Conference all-star and now he's in the West. So I don't know how that works. I guess he was already selected. Who the fuck cares? But Jalen Brunson should have been an all-star. So the Mavericks had the opportunity to re-sign him during the season and before last season, and they didn't. And they played games, and then the Knicks, tampered and were able to get Jalen Brunson. And the Mavericks could have had every opportunity to keep him. And now what do? They trade one of their best players in Spencer Dinwiddie and one of their best rotational players in longtime Maverick and Dorian Finney-Smith and a couple of draft picks and take in the ticking time bomb of Kyrie Irving. at the Luka. I guess you owe Luka that because of what you did with Jalen Brunson. He's like, what the fuck do you let this guy go for? So it's just what's going on there. I don't know, and we'll see.
I heard Bobby Marks from former Net executive and now is on ESPN did an interesting kind of perspective on why Dallas would make the trade besides the obvious of giving Luka another star to pair him with and see how that goes. But for them, I think their goal is to re-sign Irving in the offseason. If everything goes right, they feel comfortable with it, they'd want to do it. If there was an owner that's probably not afraid of things, it's Mark Cuban. So I could see him doing that. And yeah, there's probably some regret of what we did with Jalen Brunson and how we screwed that up, because they could have had him at like 4 years, 55 mil 2 years ago, which would be an amazing bargain deal for the way Brunson is now matured and is playing at an all-star level right now with the New York Knicks. But also for them, if they are unable to do that because they were able to move 2 contracts in Dinwiddie and Smith, they've now cleared themselves cap space where they could pair another star with Luka if it isn't Kyrie Irving. And now they've given them flexibility where they can bring in another max guy because they have the cap space. So that, I think, is the way their head's going with this.
Yeah, I hear you. I don't know how that's going to work. We'll see. I mean, the NBA has another fun team in the Mavericks to watch, and it's just such a soap opera.
The West is crazy. So wide open too. Yeah. I mean, who's to say that Kyrie Irving doesn't get his shit together there and him and Luka make it happen?
Yeah, I don't know.
A Mavs Nets finals would be great.
That'd be no.
You said
Mavs Sixers would be funny. But
funny for you,
funny for me.
God.
James Harden was asked tonight after the Knicks, and then we'll
this is a real quote.
Real quote. Stephen Bondi of the Daily News. James Harden not expansive on his former teammate Kyrie Irving's being traded to Dallas. He said, quote, "It's a trade that happened," end quote. So Harden's like, I am staying out of that one.
I'm surprised he didn't have any kind of snarky response, because Kyrie Irving, just to show again how much of a fraud he is.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago was like, hey, when KD went out, they go, what's the difference this year? He goes, well, I'm full-time, which is true, which I thought was funny. And then he goes, everybody here in this locker room's committed, unlike the past, when Harden was one step out.
Yep.
And then he did the same thing.
Yeah.
He was lying.
He goes, well, I'm consistently in the lineup. That helps. We also don't have a halfway.
Yes,
we don't have any halfway in anybody in the locker room.
but then he.
You're full of shit. Yeah, while you're trying to negotiate your way out.
Full of it. He didn't care, and it's like,
big surprise. Kyrie Irving's full of shit.
He was lying. I mean, he was lying the whole time, and he got his wish. He's in Dallas. I'm sure he'll do everything right. I know it's coming. I don't know if it's long term. I'm not. I know I've had like Celtic fans tell me, hey, Mike, like, this is what happens with Kyrie and all this stuff. I'm just so numb to it that I can't then. There is a sense of relief in front, but I'm not going to be like celebrating. Like, this was a disaster, And, when you say it, it's annoying, but I can say it. It was this era with Irving and Durant hasn't worked out, and the frustrating part of it is that first year they were all together. I mean, they legit could have won the title. And you need a lot of luck, and things didn't go their way with big feet and injuries.
Air balls. Yeah.
What's the air ball? The guy Durant was unbelievable in that series.
I'm just busting your balls.
Yeah. And it just it didn't work out, and we'll see what the new Nets look like, and hopefully we're doing a podcast next week where OG Anunoby or DeMar DeRozan is on the Nets.
Don't count on it, but we'll see. We'll see. So, by the way, Mike, we are sponsored by DraftKings. Did you know that? I think you did.
I did.
So, sports fans, are you ready for the biggest Sunday in sports? DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 57, has all the Super Bowl action you need. New customers can bet just $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, all customers can get in on Super Bowl 57 excitement with DraftKings Happy Hour Super Boosts. Check the DraftKings Sportsbook app every day between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern to see what prop bet will be boosted. So the line, right, it was like 1.5. I really think the Chiefs are going to win, but I hate to say it, but I kind of like the Eagles. You know what I mean? As a New Yorker, I kind of like the Eagles. I just like Jalen Hurts. They're just he's just a good dude, and I just kind of want him to win. But anyway, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use promo code BWF for bad weather fans. That's BWF. New customers can bet $5 on Super Bowl 57 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly only at DraftKings Sportsbook app with the promo code BWF. Minimum age eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. That is a very hard sentence to say. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. Say that 5 times fast, and you won't be able to.
Before we get to the Knicks, I do want to let one last net point.
Yes.
The report that came out that the Nets were offered from Phoenix, Chris Paul, Jay Crowder, and a first. We don't know what level of first, protected, all that stuff. We don't know any of that. Hearing that definitely was a gut punch. Now, Chris Paul's been injured and he's been hurt.
He stinks now.
Is he as good as it? I don't know. I think does it
2 more years, 30 million apiece? You don't want Chris Paul anymore.
But he's the guy that
just a name.
He never is he bad? He never goes away. He's always there. He's been past his prime for 10 years.
But now this year, 13 and 8. I mean, almost 8.6 assists, I guess. I mean, that's okay. But like for 30 million for 30 million a year over the 30 million a year over the next 2 years at 38 and 39 years old. I don't know if you want to be stuck with that, man. That's, sounds great on paper.
Right. Well, exactly. I think on paper, you hear Chris Paul and Jay Crowder, you get upset. I think Dinwiddie's going to excel with Durant if it works. I do think if Durant stays this year,
I think they got the best deal possible. The Nets did, and I don't want to say it, but they did.
And how
the Lakers' offer was bullshit, and it's just
and the Nets making it a point they didn't want to make Irving happy and send him to the Lakers. Good. That came out as well. They said we're not unless AD and LeBron are in this, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There are 100 draft picks. They said we're not making you happy.
And the Lakers don't have it. They gave it all up for Davis and Westbrook and everybody. It's just they don't have anything. So their whole roster is top heavy of Westbrook. Their whole salary cap is Westbrook, LeBron, and Anthony Davis. You look at their cap, it's just like everything else is like nothing. Nobody's paid anything on that team but those top 3 guys. They're all getting like $40 million a year. It's insane.
So I just wanted to make sure we got that in. I think I'd be kind of giddy if it was like Chris Paul right now. I'd be like, let's go. I think I would feel that way. But long term, we'll see.
I think he dodged the ball there. Yeah. Plus, there's a better chance Kyrie wins with the Suns stepping into Chris Paul's shoes with Booker and Ayton and everything. And
I know net spaces right now too, just killing Sean Marks. You could have had that trade, and this is what you did. This fucking.
But it's
bullshit.
A name. I'm telling you, it's just a name. It's Jason Kidd at the end of his career. It's just.
I think he's better than that. But
he's been hurt a lot, and he's old, and he's paid a lot, man.
Yeah,
that deal the Suns gave him was insane at that age.
The Spencer connection makes sense.
Yeah,
I mean,
you
get to hate Spencer Dinwiddie again.
Yeah, I get to hate
him. But I mean. It's not. Fun. I mean, he's gonna go. Dinwiddie's gonna be in the Garden next week as a net.
It just shows, man. The Nets should have just kept the culture Nets together and gotten like Tobias Harris or Jimmy Butler, instead of done all this shit.
Well, Jimmy Butler, you wouldn't have had it. No. Look, they would have been the Knicks.
Yeah, I know. Whatever. You took a swing, and that's all right. So anyway, that was probably the best win of the season so far for the Knicks. That was really great. They were down 21 early in the game, and they came back and beat the Sixers. At the Garden on ESPN national TV. Julius Randle played well. Evan Fournier had a season high with like 17 points or something. And it's just,
no RJ Barrett.
So he's in the starting lineup. It was really weird. About 3 minutes apart, the Knicks official account tweeted out the starting lineup with RJ Barrett in it. Then 3 minutes later, Knicks PR tweeted out that RJ Barrett is out with quote illness, quote unquote, non-COVID illness. So what? And it's trade deadline week. So it makes you believe as a fan, this is the kind of shit that a team does when you're about to trade the player.
Never know.
Out of the lineup. You know what I mean? You see it in baseball all the time. You see
Never know.
It's crazy. And I've been just scrolling Twitter since we started the podcast looking for an update on it, and I haven't seen anything. And they're gonna dance around that and be like, I don't know, he's sick, and punt it to tomorrow, of course, because something's there. Something's up there, man. He's been at odds with Tibbs. He got benched at the end of a game a couple games ago, and he had a terrible ending to the game last game. The overtime game against the Heat. Was the Heat? Would they play Saturday? I forgot.
No, the Clipper game you're talking about.
The Clippers. I'm sorry. I don't know why I said the Heat.
That Heat ending.
The Heat ending was crazy. They won that game with the Harrow shot at the end. Then he missed. Yeah, that was nuts. But the Clipper game where Powell banged it on Randall hard, man. That was a fucking dunk. But anyway, so at the end of the game, the Knicks almost gave it away. Randall had a turnover. RJ Barrett also, though, had a couple of horrible passes at the end of the game. You're just like, what are you fucking doing? Just to help the Clippers like hang around and it's just frustrating because you want to see them build around RJ Barrett, but I just don't think that he meshes well with these guys like Brunson and Art and Randall, and with Tibbs, who wants to force it to Randall or Brunson, and it just doesn't make any sense. But I just can't stand people who are just like, just give it up. Randall and Tibbs are staying. Just give it up. Don't worry about it. Give in. Stop complaining about it. No, I will not stop complaining about Randall and Tibbs because they're not going to win anything with these guys here. And I know they just won a big game, and I know they're over 500 and they're the 7th seed. Let's throw a parade. But the only way James Dolan makes moves like this when he has a guy in place that he likes, like he likes Leon Rose and he likes Tibbs and he likes that the Knicks are a competent basketball team. The only way that James Dolan is going to make a move is if you start going crazy and you keep the pressure on. The only reason why James Dolan got rid of Isaiah Thomas was because there were protests outside of the Garden, was because they were chanting Fire Isaiah every single game, no matter what was going on in the game. They were even chanting Fire Isaiah at Jets games when I was going back then. It was crazy. And then with Phil Jackson, he didn't want to get rid of Phil Jackson either. And the only reason why he got rid of Phil Jackson was because there was a draft party at the theater at Madison Square Garden. They started chanting Fire Phil. And that's why they let him do the draft, because he had no intentions of firing him in the first place. So you know what? Keep the pressure on James Dolan. Keep the pressure on these guys. Get rid of these guys. I don't care if they beat the Sixers tonight. It was a great win. It was fun. It was fun to watch. It was, oh yeah, yippee-ki-yo. Kaye, like who cares? It's fun. But they're not going anywhere. And until we realize that they're not going anywhere, these guys, and until we get it through to Dolan's head that they're not going anywhere with these guys, he's going to keep them around, because you know what? They're selling tickets and they're winning some games, and they're going to be in the playoffs 2 out of 3 years, and he's going to get some extra money by that. And that's all he cares about. So that's it.
Well, at least you now have the net dysfunction to add to your love.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a good win. I'm in a weird place because I am rooting for the Sixers to win this game, but if the Knicks are going to beat somebody, at least it's Philly. At least that's the team that they're going to knock off for the night and get that good win. But Knicks have strung together a couple of good wins. They got the win versus the Heat. They got the win in Boston. I mean, these are good NBA Eastern Conference teams that are going to be in the playoffs. They've also just had some really crazy bad losses all at the same time.
To the Spurs, they've lost to some bad teams. Yeah,
hovering around a couple games over 500, and that's where they've kind of leveled at. I'll be interested to see what kind of deal the Knicks make at the trade deadline. I know OG Anunoby was somebody that was rumored, but now I know a lot of Net fans, as I mentioned, want to get into the mix. But Thursday deadline, Knicks hovering between 6 and 10 in that in that range. This is what their season is. 2 good wins, 1 bad loss. 1 good win, 2 bad loss. 3 good wins, 2 bad loss. And they just kind of keep ping-ponging back and forth with these good and bad games. And, we said before the year, and we haven't talked about it, and Julius Randle's been amazing. I mean, considering what he was in last season to where he's been now, he's done an incredible job to change the image around him. Now, you can complain about things and say this about him, or maybe that's not good, but, to go basically to not way better than last year, not as good as all NBA Julius Randle, but somewhere in between, leaning towards an all-star. I mean, he salvaged the season. If he wasn't playing like this and you don't have Jalen Brunson, the Knicks are one of the worst teams in the NBA.
It's true.
Maybe that's a good thing.
It might be a good thing. Exactly. It might be a good thing. It might be a bad thing. But you know what? That's why you're just putting it's like what I was saying about the Nets. It's putting a Band-Aid on a bullet hole. Sure, you might win some games. And it might be a little fun, and you might sell some tickets, and get a little some of the Knicks homers a little excited. But what is it ultimately doing for you?
The difference is, I said this before, and I'll take a shot at it again. You have Kevin Durant.
Yeah. And I hear you. If you I'm not saying Julius Randle's Kevin Durant.
If you have Kevin Durant, you owe it to the fans to want to see what it looks like. Now, if Durant sucks, or the Nets suck, not Durant sucks, and something happens again and it blows up, I would say, let's try to get the assets. Let's figure it out. But I'm big on this, man. I want to see what Durant looks like now without Kyrie Irving there, with this new crew, this new group of guys. I want to see what that looks like. I want to see what that looks like on Monday night at Madison Square Garden, where now you have to be annoyed that Spencer Dinwiddie is coming into the world's most famous arena. You're going to be,
that's going to be fun.
That's going to be a fun game.
Yeah,
that's going to be. I wonder if Durant could be back by then. I think, the Nets owe us an update soon. It's coming up on that 4-week mark. So they owe us an update soon. It'll be, if there's no Durant in that game, this is if they ever pick him off and do it, this would have to be the day. How about Cam Thomas exploding for 44 points?
Well, he's done that before, right?
He did 44 points in 29 minutes off the bench and was electric. Oh, and this is what I wanted to bring up too. And I tweeted this and you responded to it in a text. The Net crowd in that game versus Washington was wild. insane home crowd. I would be proud to say, look at what the net crowd looks like. Totally different than the vibes I know when you were watching Nets Celtics and it was dead. This was like nut crowd. I mean, maybe nuts is exaggerating. He's like, yeah, Biseglia, just because the Nets it looked big, but it was a great crowd, and it just goes to show it was like no stars, young players,
right?
And they were into it. It's weird.
My response to you, I'll say it here. What I texted you, it's a revenge thing. It's like, yeah, we don't fucking need you. Like with the Jets when Keyshawn Johnson demanded his trade, and the Jets went into Tampa that year and won with that Curtis Martin halfback pass to Corbett in the end zone, out of all people. It was one of those things of like, yeah, it was like one of the best wins of my life. You know what I mean? As a Jets fan, and I've seen playoff wins, but it was just that stick it to him. And I know he ended up getting the last laugh, winning a Super Bowl with the Bucks, whatever. But at the end of the day, that was like, holy shit, yeah. And I think that's what it was for Nets fans. Like, fuck you, Kyrie. Look, we don't fucking need you, you asshole. You know, I just feel like that's what that was from that fans. The fans.
Maybe it was. Yeah, it could have been. I mean, they booed. There was the video board of the players that are like, Kyrie Irving, you know, and it goes Kevin Durant, Joe Harris. The Kyrie Irving video went up and they booed. That's the first time I can ever remember during all of this that he got a negative reaction.
Right.
Even
and you got to
the stuff with
that.
the book and COVID. And that was the first time I think I ever, from a collective group of Net fans, booed him. I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
He was always the most cheered guy.
Yeah. And that just shows there were a lot of Kyrie stands at the games, and it also shows that a lot of Nets fans aren't like these crazy motherfuckers on Twitter or Spaces. They're more logical of the people who are like, fuck this guy, man. You know what I mean? You know, after everything, now you want to go now, like in the offseason, you can kind of wrap your head around it. Like, it's the offseason. I had enough. I want out. You know what I mean? You might not like the guy, but you can kind of wrap your head around it. But right now you're playing well and Durant's on his way back. And now you want to go. Fuck off, man. You
selfish.
Quit. Yeah.
It's so selfish.
No, it's almost how like Julius Randle was last year, where it was just kind of like he never demanded a trade, but he kind of was like, he walked off the court a couple times, pissed off, would be mad when they would win and be sad when they would lose, happy when they would lose. It was just like, get the fuck out of here, dude. You're cursing out fans and getting fans kicked out of games. You're throwing laptops in assistant coaches' faces. It's just like, get out of here, dude. And then they played so much better once he stepped away. It was just more fun to watch, so it's kind of like that. And it's just, I'm repetitive with the Knicks at this point. It's just kind of the same shit over and over. But it's just fun. It's fun to see them win all the time. It's just, but at the same time, it's kind of like I'm stuck in this mode where it's like, I want them to win, but it also might be better if they lose. It's like a mind fuck. You know what I mean? It's like the worst. It's the worst place to be as a fan. Like I said last episode, we're at a plateau. I want to be at least going up the mountain or give me a plan where I know we're gonna, like you can't just go this way, like sideways. You gotta like try to go up. Always take a shot, and they're not going there, and it's frustrating, man.
Yeah, no, anyway. I could imagine. I've been on a championship train in my head for the last couple of years, and now it's
crazy. It's crazy how we went from that to this. You know what I mean? Like even in my wildest dreams, I didn't think the Nets would. I celebrated when the Nets signed Durant and the Knicks didn't get him. I was so happy. But at the end of the day, like I did not expect this. Like who could have seen
that first
coming?
Year? Yeah. Well, I mean, COVID definitely impacted everything. But what are you gonna do? Like, am I gonna tell a business owner the same thing? This was terrible. It was a terrible moment in our history, and scary one.
Yeah,
I didn't see a pandemic coming, but with Kyrie and his stance, it caused.
What do you think about my thoughts
effect.
About Kobe? You think Kobe Bryant passing had a lot of big effect on Kyrie, or do you think that's just an excuse?
No, I think that's an excuse. I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe possibly, but I think ultimately, you're an adult. This is how he feels about things. I think that's how he handled his business, and he didn't want to, all of the things that had happened. And I apologize for not answering you about that before, but yeah, man, I just don't think it would have mattered. Maybe in a moment here or there, but overall, like Kyrie said in his ways, he wanted out. He didn't. Okay. It's just so crazy too, because a couple of things. You just have these like, I got two people that I have tweets when they come out. They come to my phone. That's it. They're the two NBA insiders. And when I saw Sham's tweet, the first thing I thought was, and I've always gotten these big tweets right before meetings, which is just so annoying. But the tweet came out and it said the Brooklyn Nets. I was like, wow, okay, what is it? And then you read the rest of it and you sit there for a second and you go, huh.
What?
And it takes like a minute to process it. Does that make sense?
You make sure if it's a real account. You make sure all these
you
things.
do all the things. And then it kind of hits you. And then the phone starts going nuts. Did you see this? Did you see this? Did you see this? It's like you can't even respond to everybody.
Yeah.
And it's just like that moment. And then this one, when he's dealt, you're kind of waiting for it. So it's not as shocking. But when that trade, I mean, it must have been, it was shocking. I know it was shocking, but not shocking because of Kyrie and his history and his past. But still, when you see it after all the good vibes that have been going up, all of a sudden it's like, what? Blows your mind.
So another thing I wanted to talk about before we get into my Nets scared meter, whatever you call it.
I know. I was really not looking forward to the question today, but I have to continue it.
Yeah, well, we'll do it in a second. I just wanted to get your thoughts as a Giants fan with the Empire State Building being lit up with the Eagles colors, and
hated it.
Did you hated it?
Yeah, and
did you know?
I hated it.
Did you know that they also lit it up with Chiefs colors later that night when the Chiefs won too?
They've been doing it.
What's the big deal? I mean, it's just it's like if they didn't do the Chiefs one and they just did the Eagles, then I understand people going crazy. But like, we're in New York, you can't put Eagles colors. It's they're saying congratulations to the teams that won their championship games. I mean, it's just.
Yeah, I think because it's who it is. It's the Eagles, and you're in New York.
Granted, the Patriots up there, I'd probably be a little annoyed. If
it's just annoying to see like we're celebrating the Eagles in your city because, it kind of makes New York look a little fake. Like to me, are no? I don't know the big buildings in Philly, people, but like, are they putting up?
On the Liberty Bell,
are they putting up on the Liberty Bell? Is it going to be like we're ringing it 4 times for every Giant championship? Like, what? It'd be so ridiculous.
Yeah.
So now was I one of those people that was like, oh my god, how could you do
went crazy? Yeah.
No, but I was like, this is just a tacky look. Stupid.
Yeah, I just think it was blown out of proportion a little bit. That's all.
Welcome to New York.
just that, like, just if it's maybe they've done this every year. We never even noticed just because it wasn't the Eagles.
They have,
they've
done this.
What
before.
The fuck is the big deal? You know what I mean?
It's black and white for the Nets later this year.
Yeah, that's it. Remember when the Knicks, they had it was the Empire State Building lit up in blue and orange when it was the Nets opening night a couple of years ago. Remember that?
I don't. Did they? I believe you. Did they do it?
Because it was a Knicks. They were honoring the Knicks' 75th season or something, and then there was like, or whatever season it was. I think it was 75, right? And I don't know. It was a Nets a home opener, and it was just like a troll thing online. I was like, oh, look at you.
Oh, that sounds familiar. Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
See that? Well, at least that's in New York.
That's fun.
Yeah, understand that. Fun,
stupid.
And the Knicks have been around.
Yeah.
They're
Knicks play 5-minute walk from Empire State Building too.
The Knicks are probably the 5th, 6th biggest team in the city as far as all sports teams. Mm-hmm. I get that.
5th, 6th, yeah.
Sure. Both baseball teams, both football teams. 5th.
Yeah, that's true. I guess. Yeah, that's a good point.
I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna let people tell me that New York's a basketball town. No, it's the other two. No,
it's Well.
People I feel like basketball. It's a passionate basketball.
It's a football town because football just rules all. You know what I mean? Football just rules all. Just the Jets have been so bad for so long that we haven't seen the other side of because the Jets fan base can come out, man.
Thank for the Nets for bringing interest back of basketball in the city. I mean, the Nets they're say what you want. They've definitely made it interesting.
Yeah, it's true. They have. They brought a little.
The fans going to have to talk about the Nets tomorrow.
I know. Yeah. Well, there's nothing to talk about tomorrow. It's the week of Super Bowl before
the
Super Bowl
tomorrow.
Yeah. Easy.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Easy.
Yeah. All right. The scaredometer. 0
right now.
I have to eat. I would be Kyrie Irving if I said, "Well, I'm not asking anymore." I gotta keep asking. 0 being it's over, no chance at a title, like no scared. 10 being like, oh shit, they're about to do this.
So I've been at 7, right? I've been at 7 or so.
You've been hovering 6.5, 7.
Yeah. I think I'm down to about 3 right now.
Not 0.
No, not 0, because I don't know what's going to happen this week. They still have Durant, and I don't know what's going to happen this week. I don't think it's going to happen, but I can't be like it's, I'm totally confident it's absolutely never going to happen. And, I don't think it's going to happen, but there's still a slight little bit with as long as he's on the team and as long as we don't know if we get past the trade deadline and this is what the team is, it's a 0. It's like I'm not worried. But like you said, Nets can make another move and then they get another all-star in there or borderline all-star and you're like, oh shit,
like
this
if
is
the
a
Nets,
squad. Yeah.
If the Nets were to take all the picks that they've now accumulated back
in 2029 or whatever year it is,
they got Dallas's picks. Let's say they take the picks and they move like a Seth Curry or Joe Harris or somebody to make the salary work.
Right.
And they get OG Anunoby or they get DeMar DeRozan, someone of that level. How would you feel about the Nets?
I'd be more scared with DeRozan than I would be for OG. I don't think OG puts them over the top. I think DeRozan and Durant in a playoff series could be a little scary for some teams, depending on what's around them, of course. But,
would you say all things being equal, basketball only, but you do have to account for the other parts? If you had Irving for the 2 guys the Nets just got back and Smith and Dinwiddie and DeRozan, which is a better basketball team? Now, it's granted
just on the floor, not with like what Kyrie is, or just like when they're on the floor.
Like on the floor, what's it like? Just basketball wise, did the Nets get better?
So wait. So say that again.
Don't worry about the Kyrie bullshit because I think those 3 for Kyrie Irving with everything that's happened, I think you go, holy shit, yes.
Okay.
I don't even think you would think twice about it, right?
Yeah,
like so, DeRozan's the best guy. Dinwiddie, I know Net fans love. I can't say as much about DFS. But from just a basketball standpoint, did the Nets get better?
Did the Nets get better by making this trade today?
If it's those 3 guys, if I'm giving you DeRozan too.
Giving DeRozan, are they better? No, because Kyrie on the floor, if take away all the bullshit, Kyrie on the floor is better than all 3 of those players put together. If Kyrie without the nonsense, he's better than all 3 of those players, and he gives you a better chance to win because he's big time clutch, the whole thing, so.
But
that's my
answer. You would still feel like, okay, the Nets have a chance again.
Yes. If there wasn't, but you can't have Kyrie without all the bullshit. It just comes with Kyrie at this point in his career.
But I'm saying if there's another deal to be made and the Nets get themselves another piece.
So if no, I get it. Yeah, no, I would definitely with Kyrie, they're definitely more dangerous if there wasn't all this bullshit for sure.
Yeah.
I just feel like the Nets can end up with DeRozan or Zach LaVine or somebody like that. And if, it's just, but what are they going to give up to get guys like that? And it's just, but the NBA trades never make any sense. We say this all the time. You know what I mean? When the Nets were like interested in Harden, like how are they going to get Harden without giving up Kyrie? And then sure enough, this is like a 17-team deal and they're able to get him without giving up Kyrie. It's just, that's just how things work in the NBA, man. It's just crazy.
You know how long it's been since the Knicks beat the Nets? Spencer Dinwiddie was their point guard.
Yeah. It's crazy, man, because the Knicks just go up and down and up and down. They're 11-13 since their 8-game winning streak in early December. So
with good wins,
but a lot of bad losses, to the Spurs and a bunch of teams like the Raptors twice. That's some bad losses. And to the Wizards, I think they lost to. And
that was a bad one.
They've been under 500 the majority of this season. I know you can't take out the 8-game winning streak, but if you do take out the 8-game winning streak, they're like really far under. They're like 7-8 games under 500 for the season. And it's just, and an 8-game winning streak early December is not that, exciting. It's not like in the 4-seed year or 2 years ago when they went on this crazy stretch towards the end of the season to lock in the 4-seed. Like that was impressive and exciting because it's the end of the season. You're closing out strong when teams are trying, to make that push. Early in the season, and especially against a bunch of teams that had hurt players and backups. And it was kind of like the Jets early in the season when they're beating a bunch of backups and bad teams and inflated their record. And you're like, oh my God, we're so excited. And then, they drop that back down to reality. Like that's going to happen for the Knicks. This slow decline that they're on. They still have another 2 months of the season. If they slowly go 3-4 games under 500 the rest of the season, they're going to drop. And, they're only 4 games up from, being out of the play-in tournament, 4 or 5 games from being out of the play-in tournament completely, so it's just, I'm not so confident they're going to make it. And honestly, I don't know how great it would be if they did, if they didn't. I mean, how bad it would be if they didn't make it. I think it might be better for the team, but then that's the mind fuck Knicks fans are going through right now. I know we can be excited and I'm happy and, I hope that they make the playoffs and they win a round and whatever, but what does that do for us? especially when it's led by guys like Evan Fournier and Julius Randle. And, I mean,
man, maybe Fournier's big game gets him traded.
That's what I was saying.
No
I
chance.
tweeted that out too. I was like, trade him tomorrow.
No chance. Those teams are taking that contract.
Teams know who the fuck Evan Fournier is. Yeah,
yeah. But I think he'd be better somewhere else. I don't disagree with that, but it's like, what do we?
If he was an expiring contract, somebody would take him.
That's all about the contract.
Or even just one more year. I think he has 2 more years. If it's just
man. These standings: Nets 32-20, Knicks 29-26. I'll say this: the Nets couldn't beat the Celtics with Irving. Maybe they can actually beat the Celtics now. I'm not saying in the playoffs, just beat them, just like one time.
Yeah, how great is that though? That's the final moment of Kyrie Irving and the Nets 40-point loss to the Celtics. How crazy is that? That's crazy.
And how about the fact that I think it was like on the day a year later, Irving and Harden both out with injuries.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
That's crazy. Was it the calf also? Were they both calves?
I forget what it was. I didn't even see it. It was
calf strain. Whatever. It's always a calf. I'm really curious about RJ Barrett though. This injury, this illness, like. Fred Katz had a great tweet where, they put him, he's at the Garden, obviously, and he goes, RJ Barrett was about to start, and they put on the scoreboard, RJ Barrett is questionable with an illness, but the game is starting in about 4 seconds. So it's just
maybe he just had to go. I mean, sometimes his tummy hurts, and it's like, I got to leave. I've been there.
He just had massive diarrhea.
Maybe.
Nowhere. It's just like,
Maybe he, the Knicks chicken fingers in the pregame. I actually did my own poll question yesterday.
Oh yeah.
To start, who would you want to start a franchise with? Cam Thomas or RJ Barrett? Remember, I have net fans.
Yes.
So well, I have both, but what do you think?
RJ Barrett should win, but I'm sure Cam Thomas won.
What do you think the percentage was?
56% Cam Thomas.
63.
Oh, close.
And this is
right. So fun being on this side of the poll question.
I might do a poll question now and just get it out there.
Yeah,
I can. You want me to read responses?
Yeah,
too?
read some the weekly Nets poll question. Yes, that would be.
This one is from Ness Jets. It's a bunch of numbers. GOG. Knicks passed on Cam Thomas twice. Let that sink in, Knick fans.
Yeah, they got Quentin Grimes and Deuce McBride. Those guys are okay.
Brian Bokey Knockbar Steinman, just with a laughing emoji. Then Andrew L wrote Claxton too. Then we had a Knick fan response from T Harris. Boy, you Nets fans are so delusional. Jesus, guess this is what it is sad is when y'all star one out of that dumb franchise y'all have. So that was negative. Thanks, T Harris, for the response.
Good tweet. Yes,
good tweets. Yeah, you dumb franchise. They are a dumb franchise, but they're mine. I love them.
Yes. They're your dumb franchise.
The relief, Alex. No more Kyrie Irving. What are we going to talk about?
When Kevin Durant demands a trade in about 48 hours.
You know what's going to happen. I'm going to hit stop on this thing.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's
check.
And
he's going to be like, oh, yeah. Man, that would be the worst.
Let's check Twitter real quick before we start.
Nothing yet. Like I said, I got this thing on...
Yeah, no, I saw Mark Stein tweeted something, but it was just, you know what I hate? I hate when Shams and Woj or anybody breaking.
I know what you're about to say.
Breaks news, and then like there's a tweet like 5 minutes later, and it's just like, here's the story. Like I don't fucking want to read your story. Just what I mean. Click here and read the details of everything. Everything in my tweet just written out in 4 paragraphs. I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
And or it's trade deadline and Woj drops like a podcast tweet and gets like, fucking come on, man. I don't care about your podcast with the GM of the Clippers. You know what I mean? Who cares? Like come on.
No, I know. I was gonna say when he does that, and it's like, here is the Suns are signing so and so Langston Galloway on
the G League from the G League roster. Yes,
like, I want to know the bombs. I want to know the trades.
Yeah, Shams does that a lot, where he's like, the Knicks or Alfred Payton signed with the G League team. How about that? You heard that the other day?
No, I did not. I missed that.
Back in the G League. A guy who was a starting point guard over Emmanuel Quickly, and then the next year they had Alec Burks starting over Emmanuel Quickly, and now Jalen Brunson is the point guard over Emmanuel Quickly, which is fine. But it just almost feels like, the spot was Jalen Brunson's from the start. And they knew it was going to be Jalen Brunson this whole time. They didn't want Quickly to get any shine, It's crazy.
Final one for you, Alex.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think the Knicks make a deal at the deadline?
No. I think Leon Rose has proved that he doesn't make deals. He's either too scared to make big deals or he just doesn't do the big thing. He just doesn't. He gets to the finish line, just doesn't do it. If he does something, it'll be something small, like get out of a Cam Reddish or something like that. But I don't think there's gonna be anything substantial for this team, and nor should there be.
I think the Nets do make a trade. I don't think though they're gonna get the guy that all fans want, and that not star player. I think they're just gonna. I think they are gonna make a move, but it's gonna be like
get a big man, something
just a
like
backup, and they get somebody and they add to the roster. But I don't think they're gonna get somebody that's gonna move the meter. I think, as crazy as it sounds, but Sean Marks doesn't have a track record of making trades on his own. He definitely has a track record of making trades because he had no choice.
Right.
James Harden, Kyrie Irving. So he's made a lot of blockbuster trades. I mean, the guy's made more blockbuster trades than anybody, but when he needs to be proactive on a deal, I haven't seen it happen. So I think they make a small type trade, but nothing where you're like, oh, let's go, we're back here, we have a chance. Right. I don't think that happens. I think they fall short on that.
Got it. I feel you. Quick Super Bowl pick. What are you thinking?
Eagles by like 3 touchdowns.
Really? Like a blowout?
Yeah, I think they're unstoppable. I think they're on a mission. Yeah, I do. I think they're that good. I think they're the best team in football.
Yeah, my mind is telling me the Chiefs and my heart is saying the Eagles. So it's kind of hard to pick, but I'm thinking Chiefs are going to win like 26-23.
Who do you root for?
As a New Yorker, like I'm not allowed to root for the Eagles, but like I was saying, I just kind of like, but I'm a Jets fan. So it's not like I'm rooting for the fucking Patriots or something. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm rooting for the Phillies. You know, I know it's the same fans as the Phillies and the Sixers, but at the same time, it's like
the same fans.
I love Jalen. I just like think Jalen Hurts is just such a good guy. And I just really think he deserves a championship. And seeing the Chiefs win already, but you know, I kind of want them to win too. I just feel like Mahomes deserves another one. And I don't know. I
want a good game.
Yeah, just give me some entertainment. I don't know. And the game's not even worth betting on, you know, straight up. Obviously, you can do a lot of prop bets on DraftKings, you know, promo code BWF. Those are going to be fun. Like, you know, the Super Bowl, they always have so many Super Bowl prop bets, like, you know, kickoff, is it going to be a touchback? Yes, it's going to be a touchback. Most likely, you know, things like that, coin toss, all those fun kind of things you can get into. That's really fun to do. And those count towards the $5 with $200 in free bets with promo code BWF if you sign up.
Use it.
Use it, please.
My Nets shirt.
And download the episodes. Thank you very much. On your Nets shirt, under your Syracuse zip up hoodie, as Mike would say. Anyway,
download the episodes. You wanna close this out? Then in the post Kyrie Irving era, Alex, you wanna close the show?
Do you really want me to close the show?
Nah, it's up to you. I'm just I thought maybe we start a new trend. No Irving, no close. This has been Bad Weather Fans, episode 156.
I can close it out. You want me to say it? Ready?
Go for it. Oh, fuck off. So you got it at the end. I'll be a little, now that we've had our whole conversation, I'll let you have it there.
I didn't have it queued up. It would have been better.
I knew in my head. I went into this. I had a mental meeting and I said, he's going to play the song. And I said, I'm not going to let him get the song out. And I said, you want to do it on your Twitter? That's your own. But I'm going to defend.
This is Bad Weather Fans.
Yeah. I have to defend the turf. Yes. And if the Nets ever were to win a championship during this show, I think I would just play that on loop for an hour and make you have to listen to it and watch me as I just sit here smiling. You'd have to listen to that for an hour of Let It Burn.
If the Knicks ever win a title, I'll play Go New York, Go New York, Go over and over and over. I'm sure that's your favorite song.
I do like the song. And if I'll say this, if anybody's made it this far into the podcast, you get to hear that little a little Easter egg from me. It is a catchy song. Yeah. But man, there were some Knicks fans tweeting like, "Oh, Nets got robbed." What were they supposed to do?
Yeah, well, whenever a superstar wants out, you don't get equal value. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, and also everything that has gone on with Kyrie, right? This wasn't like, oh, we're dealing Devin Booker. You know, like
it's true. It's true. Anyway, thanks for listening. And please download the episodes, and we'll catch you next week. I think Knicks Nets Monday, day after the Super Bowl. So we'll probably be back then. We'll see.
Deadline Thursday.
Thursday. If something big happens, we'll drop one too, and we'll see.
Bad Weather Fans, episode 156. Find us on YouTube as well, where you can watch Alex put his cell phone up to his Blue Yeti microphone.
Better end it before I go again.
This has been Bad Weather Fans. We'll see y'all next time. I'm going to hit stop. I'm hitting stop.